What it do, baby? I'm just going to take you through the trades I took today, man. Um, I want to look at some higher time frame stuff, but I just want to get it through the trades and then clear everything off this chart, because obviously we don't have enough shit on this chart right now, bro. Yesterday was a big downtrend. And today's green. Today was a funny day because the 1801 channel was a big uptrend, but this is like the entirety of the New York session. It was just straight down. So I was a little bit like, I just had one of those days where I kept flipping my bias back and forth. You know what I'm saying? Zooming out like that really makes you realize how insignificant these moves are, but they could still make you poor rich. So I started the day out with a nice L. It was 24 points. It was a little smaller today, the range. So I think my problem was I was buying at the top, thinking we were going to go up to yesterday's value area high, and not a good supply, not a good demand zone. Okay, it's happening. So there was like a nice strong, you can see that lump right there. There was a pretty strong lump right where I was actually right below. So not even like a good place to buy based on the volume profile, except for this little tooth here. But yeah, I think the volume just wasn't very good either. And look at this boy. It kind of looked like we were popping out above it and bouncing off the top, but it did not do that. It did not bounce off the top. In fact, that was the high for the day, and we just went down from there. And I don't think I had this drawn in yet, but I'm sure it was very bullish, but of course it is, because that's the opening. So this is one of those days that I kind of just faded that first, 45 minutes. 30 minutes. Yeah, so not great, but that was 24 points. Let's just track this. Let's get going. Make it easy. 24 point louse, and then little wick here. It kind of turned into like a big P-shaped profile day. Where was my next one? Right here. So then I went short. I kind of wasn't even looking at the channels at this point because it had gotten so flat at this, around, it was flattening out. And at one point it was completely flat. Yeah. But here, we were trading down into the midline. So if I was worried about the midline, that might not be a good idea, but it kind of just, not anything special going on at the midline here. But we did trade up into this pretty strong supply zone. And I'm looking at this. This also might have been a good short from this bigger supply zone, which I drew out, and I didn't take that trade over there, but I did draw a red bang. Yeah, but the volume doesn't quite support it. But a little lower was this heavy volume node that I shorted off of, and that turned out to be good. So I think just the combination of a pretty clean supply zone and that heavy volume node, that worked out. This is a really clean candle, and I just took that bad boy 1-to-1. This is one that, as this was playing out, I was like, oh, this could be a runner. And that's kind of also why I got in again. At I think the second entry was not very good, but it was just enough. So that's 32.50. So that was a good play. You could hold it to VWAP or the low, you know. And then the second one was like, again, not really paying attention to. I was looking at this and like, maybe it like pokes above the VWAP and fails, but like the midline, it's kind of you see it like, now like recently it's kind of respecting the midline of that channel, but see here, it pokes below this midline, tries to poke. So it's like kind of failing to get back above the midline. You could kind of call that like a reason to get in, but I don't know. But what I was looking at was the point of control. We had just gone below. And this one really made you sweat. Why? So I had my stop up here at the top of this candle, above the zone. It kept making these tweezer tops, and I was like, how is this thing still pushing higher? But it did. And then it failed back down. Just long enough to get you a 1-to-1 on that. 25 points. And then it shoots straight up. Boy. Yeah, that was a little scary. I won't lie. They were back in this uptrend. And why is that a good short up there? And this one's interesting because it's both like, you could look at this two ways on that entry candle. Allowing. So bad with this value area. You're kind of near the value area high. This is where the this is where the uptrend got rejected, reversed. You tap right into that zone, you get a little wick. This is a tiny little baby candle. It's not great. But if you can even get in on this one. And it is sketchy because you're making kind of higher highs. I would call this a risky one. I wouldn't call this great. You're making higher highs. And you actually broke this high too. And the value area is up here. So like, I was expecting this to take a little heat if it went up there, but you can actually take this big red candle and it is just like risky as hell, but like you can still take a 1-to-1. Well, that's what I was really concerned with, was like, man. But it went back down to POC. I was just like, that's a lot to ask. If you take it like at this little baby candle, you can get a little bit of risk profile and just like take it down to there. Because this is also kind of a demand zone. You're like, is it going to bounce out of there? But I did draw that one out. But again, just like the market structure is super, it's turning bullish. Like it's just got these big higher lows. The trends, the regression channels still not telling you too much. Like you might expect to hit the high on that, but probably not. And then we came down here, and this one I was pretty confident in, at least to get a little bit of a reaction, but really not. This is where the channels came in. Like, if this is an uptrend, let's pay maybe more attention to the bottom channel. So it hit the bottom of the green channel. It hit the bottom of the blue channel. What I didn't like is the blue channel is now turning down. And we had this huge sell-off, like up here as well. So hitting the bottom, poking through the value area low. But we have this huge, also, demand zone back here. And what happened yesterday too? No, there was nothing yesterday. So I thought if it did reverse, maybe it will here, but I'm not going to ask for more than VWAP, and that's like exactly where it went. And I won't lie to you, I kind of drew out tentatively. I drew out this one too from this piece of shit candle, just to be like, oh, this is the reversal, but it didn't. So you can count that against me. Not, I don't know. You're protecting my ego right now. But we got a 390 on that. 39. Yeah, it is funny how, like, looking at the volume profile, you can kind of get, I don't love it because it's really sketchy. And like yesterday, I drew things wrong a little bit, and that resulted in a miss by like a tick. So it is sketchy, but you can get like pretty precise exits, which, like, I don't want to encourage counter trend trading, but like, if it turns out that you are counter trend, that can be good. I mean, it's as good as it gets, you know? That doesn't make any sense, but hopefully it does. If we did, let's just say we lost this one. That's pretty hefty. You still would have come out with a pretty good day and a decent win rate. That was like the biggest loss of the day. I think it'd be stupid to get in there. Hindsight, obviously, but like, it bounced right off of VWAP, couldn't stay above VWAP. This isn't a great zone that it like ticked into. The blue line, the blue channel was turning down at that point. So this was all just like, that was like, oh, I got out. I can still get back in, even though I'm not even in, just like drawing shit out. So there's my wall of shame. But let's pretend we didn't do that. And you made $140. $140. 1440. Yeah. And what sucks about, like, this is why you got to reduce your risk on a small account. Cause like, I feel like I've just been losing on the first trade of the day. Like, I get faked out. Maybe I should stay out until like 10 or 10:15. But I get faked out. And then I take an L, and then a string of wins. And it's like, if these are on NQ rather than MNQ, that's fine. But if this is on NQ and that's the first thing that happens to me during the day, and my max loss is $2,500 account, and my friggin' and my daily loss limit is 1,000. It just took out half my daily loss. I don't know, man. But I think the ranges are certainly getting smaller. Like, you could see the point values were a lot higher last week. So you can take half, you know. You would still come out with like a $700 day, right? So I think especially if I decide to start out with the prop account and like do that, then yeah. But 720, I mean, that's really, if you're just taking half sizes, it's good, man. Yeah, so that's great. But let's like kind of take a step back. Just delete everything. Um, so we've been in this bounce, and remember, it bounced off of like a pretty significant area. I think. I just honestly haven't been doing this because I'm like lazy, but um, yeah, we bounced where there was very little warning. Yeah. But I think this is really important, like, especially what I've been feeling like a little bit lost because my bias keeps slipping. So I think it's important. I think we should consider something could happen up here. It's getting real dark right now. I think there's a thunderstorm coming. What's this downtrend kind of look like? Looks like we're coming up to the POC, which is also right at that. I mean, the volume got really thin down here. You know, coming up on the POC, which is where this potential supply zone could be. I think today and yesterday, like any hourly zones might not have helped us. That I mean, look how big the ranges were, and then like look how small we're getting. Then it's kind of just coiling up there, and really wicky too. So, yeah, like here's where you would keep a higher time frame thing. 54-hour time frame, yeah. No. You really got to get in like really close. Like this was kind of interesting because it's like a little bit of a, you could kind of call this a zone, and it stayed in there for a while, but it really ended up rejecting, and now we're putting in a lower high. Pardon me. Almost hurt myself on that one. A lower high. So, yeah, maybe we'll just keep going from here. Maybe we'll come up and tap this because there was the POC up here, and, you know. But if we do go down, like, where might we bounce? Here. Maybe. Curious what the volume looks like just on this stuff. Did I draw this already? Yeah, I did kind of. Yeah, look, like it's kind of vortexing around this like point of control. There's clearly a lot of volume building up, and then it's like, could we come up here, find that there's no volume, or like find that there's a bunch of short volume, and then go down again? Could we try to break lower? Realize there's not much volume down here. Go up. It goes up or down, you know? So it's like, but it's coiling, like it feels like it's going to be a big move. Like maybe it'll just shoot straight through whatever kind of area we're might be expecting. This was a zone that had like a little bit of a reaction on the 1 hour. Honey. That was right at the point of control from the last. That's kind of cool. It like bounced off the point of control for this whole move and supply zone. So there's something that if you had drawn Monday morning, like that could have helped you take at least a bit of a long, but it couldn't get up there though. Yeah, man, it's about to be thunderstorms out here, boy. I don't know if we're going to learn much more by going down past that, but yeah. But also wonder what this looks like. Yeah, really. It's like P-shaped, but it's like there's also volume up here that just is completely insignificant. But yeah, and if you go a little back, there's a little node. Let's draw this. What does it look like all the way back to the high? Did we? Yeah, we looked at this already. But yeah. I'm not sure what bias to have here. I'm kind of short biased right now. And like, what do these big ones tell you? It's not touching the top at all. Yeah, like super wide. Yeah. What about this? I mean, we're really just at like a diddle in the middle kind of point. Like, you would just kind of think that something is going to happen. Something's gotta happen. You know? Yeah, I mean, that like fits pretty good, but again, it's just like staying in the middle. It's just coiling up. So yeah, I don't know if that would have helped you on these last couple of days where there's not really any volume. When it went up there. Okay. So it did, and we kind of saw this on a higher time frame, but I love this extend lines feature. So this is interesting because the kind of at the outset of this bounce up until like the move to the high of like the news move, we didn't bounce above it. But if you extrapolated this line, you would see it bouncing off the midline a lot. And would have loved to see like a demand zone right here, kind of like at the midline. That would have been awesome, but that didn't happen. So what I saw today was that yesterday's big old downtrend. Don't you love it when it's about to just like blast thunder all over the place? I really do. I love a summer storm. I thought this was interesting because note that this is just yesterday's Globex session. But if you extend it, that's exactly where we bounced off. And that kind of gives you a picture of like just a continuing downtrend. Yeah, that's it. So I'm having like good days statistically, but like, I don't know. I don't feel great. Maybe I should. The win rate's still kicking, I think it's just because there's not as much conviction. Yeah. It's not the cleanest, but you gotta sit and wait it out. Why? All right, that's enough technical analysis for today.